The two most important positions on a football pitch, goalkeeper and striker. Yo, what's going on, people? Welcome on back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. I do hope you're doing well, mate. I really do hope that. And welcome on in to Chelsea News, which, of course, is the daily series here on the channel where I reflect on what's been said about Chelsea, giving you my thoughts on it, but as always, more importantly, asking for yours. And today we are discussing the two most important positions on the pitch, goalkeeper and striker. Just look at Man City, who are having a lovely time at the moment. They have got Gianluigi Donnarumma in goal doing bits. The giant that stops the ball from going in the net. That seems like a priority coming back into vogue. And of course, Erling Haaland in the frightening form of his life. That looks more inevitable than ever. Guy drinks raw milk, eats tomahawk steaks, and scores goals for breakfast. In today's video, I want to speak about the strikers at Chelsea and a little bit, say broadly, loosely, but maybe quite assertively about Harry Kane and this buyout clause. Now, I know we've got Liam Delap. I know we've got Emmanuel Omega joining Chelsea, presumably to play for Chelsea, but I'm going to make a case for Chelsea to consider this buyout clause. We have been linked to Harry Kane for years, on and off, probably most strongly when Pochettino came to Chelsea and he was building a house near Cobham, but surely he couldn't have gone from Tottenham to Chelsea. That's a dangerous road to cross, but maybe if you go via Bayern Munich with a few trophies, could it happen? I want to talk about it, and it's kind of a thought exercise, and we need to speak about the strikers broadly, because we know Nico Jackson ain't coming back. And also, speaking about goalkeepers, Robert Sanchez has done an interview with The Athletic, and he's playing quite well. So we're going to reflect on that and see what he said. It's going to be a good video, guys. So thank you for joining me. Welcome on back. Welcome home. Thank you as always for supporting the content, dropping a like on this video, hyping it up, commenting, sharing, and of course subscribing, because we are between 199 and 200,000 subscribers, so it's that final push. We're definitely over 199,400. We might be near the halfway mark, so thank you to everyone who subscribed. If you're yet to do so, I welcome you to do so, mate, so you can be a difference maker in achieving this goal. I feel like it's for me, but it's for all of us. Many of us have been on this journey on this channel together for many years, and I feel like getting over that line is a collective community achievement. So, thanks. Alright then, let's get into it and speak about the strikers. Before we get into Harry Kane and this thought exercise of mine, Chelsea have a few strikers on the books. Of course, we've got Joao Pedro, who can, score the odd goal, is the sort of quintessential false nine if you're playing that way. We have Liam Delap, who is a throwback old school striker, but Chelsea are yet to see the best of him, although I do still have general high hopes for the young England striker. And of course we have Marc Guiu, who is the young 19-year-old Spanish international centre forward who also, like Delap, is a little bit of a throwback. Now, I'm not going to be unfair here, but I'm going to discount Marc Guiu because I think we brought him back as a sort of, backup. I think he's going to go on another loan, and I'm not going to consider him moving forwards. I've said it before previously on the channel. I think we'll probably sell him and treble or quadruple our money on him because we got him for so cheap. And I think personally we'll put a buyback clause in there in case he develops into something very special. So for that reason, I'm going to discount Marc Guiu. And actually, I am going to discount Joao Pedro. I think we will play him up top in a pinch, but I do think his best work comes withdrawn slightly. We've even at this point heard Enzo Maresca say that, so clearly he agrees with me. And I know we're thinking Buonanotte is only on loan because Kendry Pires might come in. I think that's probably a little bit fanciful at the moment, so I think actually Cole Palmer, in terms of a backup in the number 10, I would quite like to see Joao Pedro play that role. It will be a little bit more direct and less playmakery than Cole Palmer, but Joao Pedro is an incredible technician and a very high-level footballer, and I think he'll be a really good rotational option. Of course, we'll want to see Estevao and Cole Palmer play together, and we will, from like the number 10 and the right wing, and they can swap positions in game. That's great, but you still need that depth. So moving forwards, personally, I do want to project Joao Pedro as a slightly more withdrawn attacker than that centre forward. So where does that leave us? Well, it leaves us with Liam Delap, the £30 million striker who's young and only had one season in top flight football. I still have high hopes for him, but we're kind of banking on him developing quite a lot. Which I think he will, but still, it's Chelsea Football Club and you need depth and quality and you can't just have Liam Delap. Now, we have Emmanuel Omega joining next season. Now, Omega is another striker with a high ceiling, but yeah, again, potential. Of course, he's not really played this season because he's out with an injury at Strasbourg. And of course, we've seen Joaquin Pancelli come in and do very well to the point where Chelsea fans are saying, we've signed the wrong striker. Maybe a little bit short memory. Of course, Omega did very well last campaign and wore the captain's armband for Strasbourg in a season where they qualified for Europe. But for me, personally, I think it's great to sign these players for low value that have a high, return potentially and high ceiling. Of course, we're speaking in the context of Nicholas Jackson not returning. I think that ship has sailed. We've heard briefings from all kinds of different news outlets essentially saying, yeah, the story's done because of, his relationship with Enzo Maresca. I think the sporting directors recognise, although they might not make as much money as they had originally hoped for Nicholas Jackson, who I think just scored for Bayern Munich, they will make a profit on him, a handsome profit, and the story is done. So really, in terms of conventional strikers moving forward, it's Delap and Omega, and for me, that's sort of fine. I don't want to be seeing Pedro Neto playing false nine, Tariq George. That backup, I want to see Joao Pedro going into the striker role because he's been playing elsewhere, in the lineup normally. That's what I want to see. So you're left with these two young, relatively inexperienced strikers, and that's why, and I'm going to talk about Harry Kane now. Well, throughout these last few years of Blue Co's ownership at Chelsea, the Athletic have said, yes, they want to buy young, low age, but they will, if they see an opportunity and they see the need to, buy senior, high-profile players to bolster the squad. That I've heard Simon Johnson of The Athletic say that a few times. Of course, that's a briefing from the club to try and appease the fans that, if we see that a superstar we want to buy and we think it's the right thing to do, we'll do it. We can make our minds up whether we believe that. I'll sort of believe it when I see it, which makes me want to talk about the Harry Kane buyout clause. So coming from goal.com, Harry Kane does have a buyout clause, 65 million euros, which is about 57 million pounds, a similar amount of money we spent on Joao Pedro, but this of course is Harry Kane. Now Harry Kane is 32 years old, he's not getting any younger, but he's in scintillating form, he's in the form of his life. Check out his Who Scored page, apparently he scored 32 goals this season for club and country, which is absolutely insane. That does include the Club World Cup, so that's 3 goals that's been annexed on, but still, basically 30 goals. This man is in insane form. As an England fan, and as someone who's just watched Harry Kane for Tottenham and Bayern Munich, he always scores. He's not just like an Erling Haaland who's this inevitable runner in the box at the moment. Of course, Erling Haaland's a lot younger than Kane. Kane has been playing as a number 10 as well. So you want to speak about how he could start with a player like Joao Pedro and they could swap positions. He's been playing behind Nico Jackson, getting like 9 ratings on SofaScore, playing as a playmaking number 10. But of course, he's a box crasher. He scores an insane amount of goals. Harry Kane, I think, will be playing at a very high level for a long time. I mean, he already has for a long time. But what I mean is a bit longer to make it a very long time. I think, I don't think he's going to be like Thiago Silva, 40 years old playing in the Premier League, but I think he's got another couple of seasons in him where you can get exactly what you need out of him. I've said it before on the channel here on Football Therapy that I think Liam Delap is the heir apparent to Harry Kane for England. What better way for him to, pass that baton and learn from than both of them playing for Chelsea? I would try and sign Harry Kane and say, come back to the Premier League, come to Chelsea. He's 47 goals away from breaking the all-time Premier League record. It's 260 for Shearer. Have I said that right? 47, yeah, I think so. 47 goals. He's always wanted that. And he left just before he could have done it. He could do that in 2 seasons. In 2 seasons, we could give him a 2+1 contract. You could break the all-time Premier League goal scorer record. You could break Alan Shearer's record. Everyone always said it's going to be him. It's going to be him. I don't think it will be Mohamed Salah. He still needs like 70 goals. And I think they'll sell him in the summer. Eventually, it will be Erling Haaland. It will eventually be Erling Haaland, but for now, Harry Kane can come in, and who knows, maybe Man City get done by the Premier League, and, you know, he gets sold to Barcelona or something. But I genuinely think Chelsea should consider this. £57 million, loads of people will buy Harry Kane shirts, you know, at Chelsea. You give him whatever wages he wants for the 2 years, because, you know, it's quite a low transfer value for the return, and he'll keep playing well. Look, it's a very low chance the Chelsea ownership would go for this. Maybe a Todd Boehly would. Remember, he wanted to sign a 35-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo. So a 32-year-old Harry Kane, he'd be like, yeah, get him in, man. There's probably a defensive American accent there. Sorry to you Americans. Genuinely, maybe it's the inner England fan talking, but I think it would be an amazing opportunity, you know, and even if it comes at the expense of, say, Omega going on a loan and he doesn't get to play for Chelsea, or indeed we have 3 strikers. The great Chelsea teams of old have had 3 strikers. We'd have, I don't know if I'm getting my wires crossed, but, you know, you'd have Torres, Drogba, and did Anelka play at the same time? Well, there was other high-profile strikers. Why not have a really high-profile striker in Kane and just 2 developmental strikers in Delap and Omega? I would totally be fine with that. I mean, I'm grasping at straws, but for me, I say it a lot, there's elements of the project I really like, but if they just threw something like that in, it would be such a good PR move for the Chelsea fans, and it would be so effective for, you know, for someone like Maresca saying, okay, now you've just got a striker that will absolutely score all the goals. He does run, Kane, as well. You know, he's not like really immobile. He's not like Ronaldo at 36. He will press a bit and run around, and, you know, he can drop deeper into the 10, so the 10 can press a bit more. I would love it. It's almost certainly not going to happen, but I wanted to make a case for it in today's video. Because of this buyout clause. Eventually, over the years, I always try and plead for Harry Kane. Eventually, he might go to Barcelona. He's being linked. I guess it kind of makes sense that he's a few years younger than Lewandowski. They're 3 years younger, and Lewandowski did really well for Barca, so they'll see that opportunity for another 3 years. Just come for 2 years, Harry. Come for 2 years, break the Premier League all-time scorers record, win a few trophies with Chelsea. I'm sure you've always wanted to win the Premier League. I reckon we could do it with your help, yeah? Just need Arsenal's defence to break. Anyway, let's move on and speak about the other most important position on the pitch, goalkeeper. Well, we've got the midfield locked down, guys. We've just waxed lyrical recently about, you know, Caicedo, of course, like everyone is, you know, Enzo Fernandez, Lavia, Santos coming in. We've got Asugo to come back. You know, the midfield is fine. We have got a lot of defenders. That's generally pretty good. We've got world-class fullbacks in Cucurella, and of course, Reece James with backup like Hato and Gusto, and loads of attackers. So it really is the aforementioned striker, which I've just gone into detail with, and of course, the goalkeeping situation. Now, I've made my position very clear. I do want a new goalkeeper. Until I don't. So I've always been open to Rob Sanchez changing my mind, but he would have to do a lot of consistent play with no mistakes for a long time. I have sort of nailed my colours to the mast in terms of me saying that he's 27, 28 odd, he's not going to change. But if he does, I mean, a lot of Chelsea fans have been speaking about how they felt safe against Tottenham, but we did, you know, he didn't face any shots, but he was amazing at dominating and commanding the area and claiming balls. Anyway, he's done an interview with Simon Johnson of The Athletic. I want to read through that now with you guys. Sanchez joined Chelsea from Brighton for 25 million quid in August 23 and came under significant negative scrutiny for 18 months due to making some high-profile mistakes. That's true. Head coach Enzo Maresca did not start him in a league game in February because of it. Of course, he preferred Philip Jorgensen and said in January, Sanchez is far from where I want him to be. Of course, he played really well on the weekend on the 1-0 win victory against Tottenham, and he had the following to say, Rob Sanchez. I feel confident. I am fit and at my best. I have always felt settled because the club have always told me I'm number one. But on a personal level and my performance, I have to say yes, this is the most settled I have been at Chelsea. Yeah, well, he's not made a mistake in a while. Certainly not since that red card against Manchester United at Old Trafford. It was a huge mistake, a rush of blood that made us all remember the moments where he just passed the opposition or chuck one in his own net. He has made some like wayward passes, but we have to be fair because goalkeepers still do that at times. But he did play really well at Tottenham. Let's read on. I have reached the very good level now. I'm consistent. I have the confidence. I have the fans behind me. Really? I mean, okay. So everything helps a little more. The whole entrance for me into Chelsea in 2023 was difficult. I came in a rush. I only had 3 days training, starting with a new manager in Pochettino and a new team before playing my first game, and it was a bit of a struggle. Yeah, you'd have to say a lot of people struggled joining Chelsea around that time. It was just lots of chaos, wasn't it? I got used to it only to get a massive injury on my knee at Christmas, which put me out for most of the second half of the season. I tried to come back stronger, and with the new manager, Maresca again, new more signings, so we sort of had to start all over again after the injury. When you play for one of the best teams in the world, a massive club, you're always going to be under pressure when the team, or you, don't perform. Obviously, being in the last line of the defense, you normally get the blame for it when it goes wrong, or even when it's not your fault. But that's the life I chose. It's why I like it. It's why I enjoy it. Alright, that's interesting. I feel great. I feel the defense is going great. I think the team is doing great. We can always do better at the end of the day, and you can only do so good. Personally, I am happy. I have the confidence from the boys, the manager, and the club to keep doing what I am doing. I will continue to do the same. Yeah, he does deserve his flowers, and to be honest, I must say, again, really just utilising the performance against Tottenham, he did look confident. Constantly coming out and claiming balls is so important. That's the mark of a goalkeeper that's feeling himself, because they'll always like instinct will kick in when they're looking at a ball striker and they're trying to save a shot. It's almost like they don't think. They're like, Kepa used to do that, but when Kepa actually had to think about what he's doing, occupy the right space in the box and claim a ball, he would go into himself and he'd perform really badly. So a good example of a goalkeeper who's feeling confident is when he comes out and plucks it out of the air confidently, and he did that time after time again against Tottenham. He's just constantly like, yep, mine, yeah, I'll have that, don't worry boys, I got this. And when you're doing that and your defenders know you're coming for it and they trust you to come and grab it, that's a sign of a good relationship between defenders and goalkeeper. So I really did want to speak about Rob because people are rightly praising him. I'm going to keep my powder dry a little bit because, of course, I'm not going to be... We're in the 3rd of November, time of recording, and he still already had a howler this season, red card. So I'm going to... And I've been hurt before by this man. He did have a really good Club World Cup. Great, I'll always thank him for that. In the same way, I'll always thank Edouard Mendy for his amazing performance in our Champions League win. But for me to think, yeah, he's Chelsea goalkeeper in the same way I thought Petr Cech's the Chelsea goalkeeper, Courtois, and for a short time Mendy as well. I need a bigger sample size. I need to see this confidence continue, and I need to see relationships develop in the back line. But there we have it. I wanted to speak about it, and I have. So let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, broadly about the goalkeeping situation, the striker, Harry Kane. Again, I'm not linking him. He has been linked to Chelsea every now and again, years over years. But Chelsea owners, if you're listening, listen to my pitch. Anyway, thanks for supporting as always. Thank you for liking and subscribing, and I hope to see you back here soon. Peace.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought. Body bag the verse, outlined in chalk. In my life seen trouble, hustle on the double. Silence on the trigger like my pick got a muzzle. Yo, chick like to guzzle, bad boy stay in trouble. I only love this paper, sorry I don't. I laugh me, baby.